knocking out the competition. The kick-ass podcast that make you want to listen. The place where boxing fans and fighters rejoice. Thumbs up for Richie, you're listening to the fighter's voice. It's the brightest choice. If you want all the insights on all the big fights right before the big night. Backstage news, exclusive interviews, and predictions on the fights who will win or lose. No other show comes close, and you know it's true. Every fighter got a voice, and so do you. Now you're tuned into TFV. It's the fighter's voice with Richard Ortiz. Let's go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. We're simply knocking out the competition. We got a great show for you this evening. We're going to be talking about Robert Garcia's boxing promotions with another promotion coming up April 15th. We're going to be talking about Jose Ramirez, March 25th, Fresno, California. And also the big showdown, David Benavidez taking on Caleb Plant, MGM Grand, Las Vegas, Nevada, March 25th. And we're going to talk about Ryan Garcia taking on Tank Davis. But before we do all that, we're going to have our guest, who a lot of people at ringside, including myself, that got to witness the fight when he took on Badou Jack, who is now the Cruiserweight World Champion, thought that Popeye Rivera, a.k.a. Richard Popeye, the Sailor Man Rivera, should have been victorious that night. And what does Popeye want to do? He wants to run it back because this time he's full of spinach. Him and Olive Oil are not arguing. His mind frame is correct, and he's ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richard Popeye Rivera, welcome to the Fighter's Voice, my man.
Toot toot. How you doing, man? It's good to be here.
It's doing good, man. Listen, man, I love your makeup. I love your energy. I love your swag. I think you're exactly what boxing needs, man. You're self-promoted, and it's paying off for you, man. When you hear that statement, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. You know, I want to thank you for that. You know, I really need that type of encouragement daily.
No, man. I mean, hey, iron sharpens iron, man, and I'm here to help you out. You're here to help me out, man. But at the end of the day, we got to get that world championship strap around your waist. I know you got 2 belts right now. You were just victorious, and you want another belt to your collection. But you did your work, and now you're just waiting, putting pressure on the new world champion. Because first of all, you guys should have ran it back anyways, man. And we're talking about
100%.
Badou Jack. What did you think of his performance on the undercard of Jake Paul and Tommy Fury? And how did that make you feel deep inside, knowing not only did you go the distance with this man, but in your heart, in your soul, in your mind, in your support, you knew you were victorious?
Absolutely. You know, I felt like I outclassed him. As far as his performance, I thought he did very good against Ilunga Makabu. I seen him trying to work on the inside and also do a little bit of boxing, dancing around. So big ups to him on his victory. But with that said and done, it's about time we run that fight back.
What did you learn off that first matchup? You were successful moving around using your jab. I mean, your hook was landing. He had his moments, but you refused to be dominated, and you made sure that he knew exactly who you were. But being that said, what would you do differently if you could in that fight?
Well, I definitely learned that I'm a lot better than I think I am. You know, sometimes you have the voice of self-doubt in your head, but, you know, I definitely got a huge confidence boost. And going into a rematch, I would only go in there with that much more confidence and definitely put on a statement to let them know that you can't hurt me. Whether I want to box or I want to stay here and fight with you, you know, I'm gonna come out victorious, and I think he knows that, and I think that's why he's running away.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you, man. When that fight was announced, I had a little bit of concern. I was thinking, well, wow, man, this is one hell of a jump. This is no longer the minor leagues. This is the big leagues right here.
Yeah.
And I was impressed the way not only did you live up to your expectations, man. I mean, like I said, I think your hand should have been raised. The very least, call it a draw.
Very least.
What game plan will you be putting, well, without giving it away, for this rematch? What adjustments were you going to be making? I don't want to say game plan because I really don't want to give too much away. What adjustments are
Sure.
you going to make?
Well, honestly, I feel like everybody's seen what we did in the first fight, and I proved that I can definitely outbox him. Me personally, I went in there and I took some solid shots by him, and I really wasn't phased, regardless of what the camera may have shown. So, honestly, the game plan is whether we stay in the middle and exchange punches, or we get on that horse and we dance around and box. You know, I just feel like he really can't beat me. I can really outclass him in every form and element of boxing.
Richard, you know as well as I do. You're one huge platform away from freaking stardom.
Hmm.
Your whole mystique, what you bring, your activity, your walk inside of the ring, and what you stand for. You're that platform, that national platform, away from adding another zero behind your check.
Yeah. It's a little hard to believe, you know. I've been at the bottom for so long, so when I hear things like that, it's just somewhat of a just a thought, or almost like I'm just, talking in high hopes. But when we get that opportunity, and when we do get to that stardom level, I'm hoping that I can continue being who I am and who I started off to be.
Well, tell us a little bit about your upbringing, man. I mean, which got you started in boxing, and how many years have you put into the sport?
Well, my father was deprived of the sport. He really wanted to box, and his father never put him in boxing. So when he had, boys, he was like, "We got to get him into boxing." So my deepest memory goes into the boxing gym. He started us at a gym called San Juan Boxing Center in Hartford, Connecticut, and it was from there where I fell in love with the sport, and I never steered away.
Well, you know that not only that, a lot of nationality, I should say, being Puerto Rican, man. I mean, it's embedded in you, man. I mean,
Hmm.
you're either living the lavish life, or you're knocking people out in the ring. I know a lot of Puerto Ricans. I know Hector Macho Camacho Jr. personally. We talk on
Hmm.
on a daily, and it's just a different type of pedigree, man. I mean, Mexicans can say the same. Blacks can say the same. Australians can say the same with the Maloney brothers, man. But you bring that pizzazz and you bring that stardom like Hector Macho Camacho Sr. did with your ring walk and the way you conduct yourself. You make people believe that do not believe.
Right, right. Honestly, it's funny you bring him up because he's one of the people that I look up to the most in the sport, as far as his charisma, his style, the way his outfits look, the type of charisma he had in the ring. So yeah, Macho Camacho was definitely one of my idols growing up.
Well, his son would definitely love to hear that, man. I'm gonna have to hook you guys up together. Mach Jr., who's I tell you, his boxing IQ. I keep telling him over and over again. I said, Mach, when you finally lace him up, or I mean put him up again, because he's always saying, he has this last fight, he definitely has a future in color commentating and a boxing analyst. And whenever we talk boxing, it's like looking in the mirror, man, because
Nice.
he knows a lot, and you can't throw anything his direction without him coming back with some knowledge, man. So I know you can learn a lot off him just by a simple conversation.
Yeah, and I'm a sponge that's willing to absorb all that knowledge, wisdom, and anything that he could say and shed light on the sport. I'd love to know.
Well, how long were you fighting amateurs before you turned pro, and how tough of a decision was it to say, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna go pro now from the amateurs"?
Oh, well, I've been pro for quite some time now. I think I turned pro around 14 to 15 years old, but boxing's been in
Oh,
my life
wow.
as far as I can remember. So I definitely had a lot of experience going into amateur boxing, or even going into professional boxing. And I just felt like, what we do for if any type of combat sport, with the type of training that you put in, you should be getting paid for it. Whether even the
Yeah.
sparring at the gym, the miles of running, the things you need to stay away from, the level of discipline that you need for this sport, whether amateur or not. Like, I think something needs to come in and pay it back.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've paid your dues, of course. There has to be a return somewhere, and you,
Right.
you got to keep the lights on. There's bills to pay, but at the same time, sometimes it doesn't come overnight. It comes with hard
Hmm.
work or just that opportunity. And I'm looking for that rematch to happen, man. I'm gonna do my part. I've already saw you, and a lot of other networks and media networks have posted that picture of you and Badu Jack, because we want to see it now with the title at stake.
Right.
Not if,
100%.
when you get that call, Richard.
Hmm.
Um, what is it going to do for you? I mean, are you going to drop everything and just dedicate it yourself until that fight date? How is it going to change you knowing that you're going to fight for a world title?
I mean, I would love to say that, oh, I'm gonna drop everything and get right to work, but in reality, I do this day in and day out. This isn't a game for me; it's my life. So it's not gonna really change much other than my mindset. Knowing that I got a goal, I got somebody that's standing in front of that. I can't say it's gonna change much because I go into this 150,000% every day and day in day out.
So those that don't know, that never seen you fight in the ring, what can they expect once that first bell rings and you're on the event?
Oh, come on, man! You gonna see fireworks, and I go in there and I like to give them a show. I hate when fighters get in there, put all that training, and don't be throwing no punches. I'm ready to give them a quality show inside the ring, outside the ring, walking to the ring. I'm definitely gonna bring that type of excitement.
I got to ask you this, man. I mean, the $1 million question for you: where did you get the nickname? Not only the nickname has become a part of your lifestyle, and I love Popeye growing up as well. I still do, the original ones. So where did all that mystique
Well,
come from? That following, that charisma?
yeah, well,
Because you could,
when I
don't
was
mean to interrupt you, but I don't mean to interrupt you, but you gave Popeye some swag.
yeah. I'm trying my best, man. I like to throw a little sprinkle a little bit of my own swag in everything I do. Um, but when I was a lot younger in the gym, I swear I was very small, but I had very big hands and very big forearms. So there was always times where people would just be cutting ass on me, like, "Yo, this dude looks like Popeye," and it really didn't discourage me. In fact, I knew who Popeye was. I grew up on that, so I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." And as the names kept going and going, and it just stuck. And when it stuck, I ran with it. And Popeye didn't become a persona. I am Popeye. That's me.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. You're living and breathing it, man. I mean, yeah, you definitely ran with it. There's one picture that just stands out, man, and even my girl says, "Oh, I love that the way they look together." Your girl was dressed up as olive oil, bro, and that picture needs to be on a poster, like Popeye coming to a theater near you. See what I'm saying? That's showmanship at its finest.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it 100% with you. That ain't my girl, but I
Oh,
was
okay.
able to get her. I was able to look at her and be like, hey,
Had to throw
I
that
think
in
you'd
there,
make
huh?
a good fit for the role. And she didn't mind walking to the ring with me, and she did her thing, and we definitely pulled it off.
Well, I was about to give you a compliment, man, because I love women who supersize their Happy Meal. None of the salad eating stuff, and she's not afraid to eat a double cheeseburger, and that's okay.
100%. I hear you.
Yeah, you hear me, right? There's no surfboarding here. There's no skateboards allowed. Nothing but
No, I'm with
padutes
you
and
100%.
carne. There you go. Exactly.
Lots of pernil.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, we can take it further. Yes, yes. So listen, I had the opportunity of running into you in Las Vegas, man. I mean, you were up there for the Triple G Canelo fight, and
Mhm.
what was your position there? Were you there as a fan? Were you asked by a promoter to attend? What was your business there? Just so I can let everybody know, because a lot of people ask me about that interview. Richard, where did you meet him at? And I said at Triple G fight.
Yeah, well, I was actually backstage. I was with Gabe. Excuse me. I seen Gabriel back there, and he does work a lot with Team La Perla. But I was actually back there with Enrique Colazo, who fought Diego Pacheco. So
Okay.
I was able to get behind the scenes, saw all the guys get back there wrapping up, getting their hands wrapped. I had credentials to be all over the place, so it was a good vibe.
Well, I'm gonna have to get with you because I don't always get credentials for the big events, man. So I'm gonna have to network with you a little more, man. But no, that's good that you got a taste of it, and I'm sure you looked at the crowd and you said, one day, this is me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So when, not if, when that takes place and you become a world champion, how much do you plan to give back to the community? Because I've seen these pictures of you with these kids and you're just making their day and they visit you in the gym and you have your belts. It seems to put a big smile on your face.
Yeah, I don't want to put a dollar amount on it, but I'm gonna just give my life to them. You know, God called us to serve. So as soon as I'm done doing what I have to do, I'm giving back to the community. I'm going on these missions trips to these third world countries. Any way I could give back, if I could open up gyms in these countries that don't have much, if I could continue doing what I'm doing as far as food pantries and toy drives and all that stuff. I'm here to serve. I'm here to give back. I hate seeing people that's less fortunate. I know what it is to be hungry, so I definitely want to give back as much as I can. And when I have time to give myself 100%, I'll do that.
So I think it sounds like you're here for a bigger cause than becoming a world champion. That life after boxing is when life possibly starts for Richard Rivera. Because right now it's
Oh yeah.
Richard Popeye the Sailor Rivera, but when it's all said and done, I believe it's going to be Richard Rivera that's just traveling the world and possibly just touching lives. And not only sometimes God puts in our heart for us to touch lives, but we don't know the impact that the people we're touching. They're there mainly to touch us. Because I think I'm helping somebody, and I'm thinking, who's helping who? Now you're helping me just by putting on a smile or letting me know, hey, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a Christian household, and that's not to say that I didn't have a rough upbringing, because that doesn't necessarily mean all things are peaches and rainbows and all that. But I was able to grow up on good values. I had a mother, and she was a pastor. My brother became a pastor. My father's a missionary. So after I'm done boxing, I really want to follow in that footsteps and really give back and let people know that there's more to this life.
Let me tell you this. Okay, this just came to my mind, and then hey, I'm gonna go where God wants to take it. If they said Richard Rivera is gonna be at this church service, okay, there's gonna be mixed reaction. People are gonna show up. But if they see Richard Rivera on the highest platform possible in a big event and becoming world champion, and now they say he's going to be at this church, can you imagine the masses that will attend? How God's going to use you, how he's going to continue to bless you, and see things for what they are, bro. Call things as if they're not as if they are, man, and it'll come to pass.
Yeah, I definitely want to let God use me in the most positive ways, and that sounds awesome.
Well, you know what? You seem to be making, cashing in that ticket, man, every opportunity that comes. I know you just came off a fight just recently. So, what's in the future for Richard Rivera? When's your next fight? When's your next outing? What's in the mix? What's your next move?
So as far as my next fight will be this Saturday in Dominican Republic. We're not gonna take any breaks. I like showing people that we're active and that we're not only fighting locally, that we're traveling the world. And then, I just letting people know that I can fight at any weight class as well. So whether they want to see me at a super middleweight, like heavyweight, cruiserweight, I'll make that adjustment and I'll go out there, even if the odds are against me, I'm here to fight.
This Saturday, you're gonna have to send me the poster, the fight poster, more information. I got to start posting that, bro. And yeah, I
Definitely.
got to let people know. I didn't. Wow, that's you just stepped out of the ring and now you're stepping back
Yeah,
in.
I just got out the ring. We going back over there, but we got the opportunity to go in Dominican Republic. I never been there before, so when I had this opportunity, I had to take that. I was like, oh wait, no, Dominican Republic, absolutely, let's get there.
Exactly, man. I mean, that's a whole. You're really doing God's work. You're going all over the world, man. This is no mistake. This isn't by chance. I want to talk to you about, besides Roy Jones, I've never seen another fighter sing himself inside of the ring or take part in that, man. I mean, bro, you're an entertainer. Tell us about that
That's
song
what
you
it
were
is.
busting and your partner that was with you.
Through and through. I just love entertainment, and it's like, someone could offer you a burger, but you always want to hear when you want some fries with that. And I feel the same way when it comes to a boxing match. You know, I could bring you to a boxing match. You're going to see some guys fight, but I'm trying to give you just a little bit more. I want to get you some bang for your buck. So I go in there to just give you a full night of entertainment.
Yes, exactly. Who's your manager right now? You got a manager? You got an agent?
Yeah, right now I don't have a manager. I don't have an agent. But you know, I feel like I've been doing this long enough all by myself, and we made some great strides, and we're gonna continue doing that.
There you go, man. I mean, you do promote yourself, along with Regis Pro Gray. He promotes himself, and Teofimo Lopez Sr. promotes his son like no other. And quiet mouth, man. I mean, it doesn't get fed, man. And you're here to let everybody know you are who you say you are.
Absolutely, that's right.
So, I'm going to need some pictures, man, some stills. If you got anybody that's getting any content at your fight, whether they're pictures or video, man, you have my number. Have them send it to me so I can post it ASAP, man. I'm going to give them all video credit as possible and let the people know,
Definitely.
man. I mean, if the cameras aren't following you, we're following you.
Hey, I appreciate that sincerely.
Exactly, man. We got to make that happen. I want to talk to you about some fights coming up, man. I want your take, man. I mean, when
Hmm.
Oscar De La Hoya first fought Floyd Mayweather, I remember that fight was called The World Awaits or Finally or what have you, or we're going to run it back. But we're talking about Tank Davis taking on Ryan Garcia. First of all, talk to us about the matchup and who do you think is going to be victorious and why?
Well, I feel like Ryan doesn't get as much credit as he deserves, but I would still, if you just want to know who I think is gonna win, I would have to give it to Tank. You know, Tank is a dog, and you know when you get pushed into them deep waters, you know he's gonna pull out the your real character. You know whether you're a champion or not, and you know I feel like Tank has been tested, but Ryan's been tested in a way where it makes you a little questionable.
I like that. I can see that. I mean, a lot of people talked about the size difference of Ryan over Tank, but Tank's been fighting bigger guys his whole career.
Yeah, I think he likes fighting bigger guys.
Exactly. And when he finally saw somebody his size, he had a little difficulty with him when he fought Pet Bull. So that may
Right.
be, exactly what you're talking about.
Hmm.
Now let's talk about this. Teofimo Lopez. It looked like he's going to be granted a world title shot against Josh Taylor. This fight's supposed to take place in New York. What do you think about the matchup? I mean, both coming off controversial decision victories. So what do you think about the matchup, Teofimo Lopez and Josh Taylor?
Well, I can't say much about Josh. I haven't been following his career as well, but from what I've seen about Tiafimo, although he got the victory, a lot of people wasn't satisfied with his performance. So I can imagine he's going to get into the gym and really grind out so that he could give the people what they're looking for.
You know what? I like that. I like the way you said we're not satisfied. A lot of people were disappointed. A lot of people seem to say that he shouldn't have been awarded the decision. But, once you're in the limelight and you do things a little differently, man, there's always people that are going to hate and disagree just for no reason. If they can't find a reason, they'll make a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be like that, but you know, you sometimes it's like they say, if you post a picture, don't look at the comments. You know, sometimes you just gotta
Oh,
ignore what the
man.
people say and just stay in your straight and narrow.
You're absolutely right, man. But we're all human, man. And it's less is more. And no comment is the best comment.
Right.
Exactly. Man, let's talk about this mega matchup, man. I keep going back and forth on this, and I'm talking about David Benavidez taking on Caleb Plant. March 25th, Las Vegas, Nevada, MGM Grand. The Fighter's Voice will be on location to cover that fight, that big event. And we'll be sending a team down to Fresno that same day to cover Jose Ramirez when he comes back into the ring. Tell us about the matchup with David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. First of all, what do you think about the matchup? Is it good for boxing? And who do you have being victorious?
I think that's a fight that's definitely good for boxing. I'm a fan of both fighters. When I look at the two, I would have to edge it out to Caleb Plant. There's a lot of things that I feel David Benavidez is not giving Caleb Plant credit for, and that might hurt him in the ring. I feel like when you go into a serious fight, you can't overlook some of those things. And I know if we even break it down even further, um, you know, you don't fight Canelo and get worse. You could only get
Yeah,
better from that. And
very
you're
true.
going into the ring with somebody that has been in there with an animal, so his confidence is through the roof. He just had an amazing knockout
I agree.
against Durrell. So I see it being a great fight. I don't see someone being knocked out. I could see Caleb Plant winning a split decision victory.
Wow, wow. Yeah, that was a beautiful combination to the body and to the head, that left hook.
It really was.
I didn't quite pick a winner yet, but what I did say is when people asked me about it was Caleb Plant's going to have his moments. He's going to surprise some people the first half of the fight. Now, the second half is another story. How
Right.
does David Benavidez make the adjustment? Did he invest enough to go to the body? Is Caleb
Hmm.
Plant going to be able to continue to have those legs from the sixth round on to the second half of the fight? So there's a lot of
Right.
questions to be answered there. And you
Hmm.
got to remember, a lot of people fear David Benavidez. I don't see one single note of hair of fear in Caleb Plant.
Right. I'm telling you, his confidence definitely shot through the roof after fighting
I
Canelo, and
agree.
it showed when he fought Anthony Durrell. And styles are gonna make fights, and I'm in love with Caleb Plant's style. Um, I just I honestly, like I said, it's hard to pick a winner, but that's why I'm giving him a split decision victory. But I definitely know that this is a fight that boxing needs. This is one of those more competitive boxing fights where you got two guys that are really hungry, that really want it. Yeah, we needed this. Boxing needed this.
Exactly, man. I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to let you look directly in the camera, man. This comment is going to be directly to your future opponent, man, and now the new world champion. But before we do this, we're going to take a small break and we'll be coming right back, ladies and gentlemen, with our guest, Richard Popeye the Sailor Rivera. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jose Ramirez.
I'm Bob Arum.
Hi, I'm Robert Garcia, and I'm with the Fighter's Voice.
The only radio show knocking out the competition. The Fighter's Voice Radio Show.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Once again, I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters, and we're simply knocking out the competition. In case you're just joining us now, we have with us Richard Popeye the Sailor Rivera, who's getting ready to take toot the horn, and he's going to be tooting that belt once it's around his waist, that world championship belt. I'm going to take this time and I'm going to ask him the question that everybody wants to ask him. And why does he deserve a rematch against Badou Jack, who is now the new cruiserweight world champion? Richard, why should Badou Jack share the ring with you again now that he's a world champion? And what can we do for boxing with this rematch?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you definitely owe me a rematch. I put my heart on the line. I went to your backyard, and with all the odds against me, I fought you, and they gave you a tough decision, and to go further, they let the eighth round go 4 minutes long. That's a discredit to boxing, and if you have any honor and or integrity in this sport, and due diligence, you would run that fight back.
Are you willing to go to his backyard and run it again? Or are you willing to go on the big stage and give it the platform that it needs, like New York, Las Vegas, or, a neutral site?
Yeah, I mean, if we could go to Las Vegas, I mean, I would love that. If we could go to Madison Square Garden, big ups to that. But if he's too scared to do that, and he says, "Oh, he'll only fight me in Dubai or Saudi Arabia," then so be it. I'm there. Just give me the opportunity.
There you are. Those are fair words, and that's directly to him, man. And you know what? We're going to share this piece, and we're going to make that happen. I may even have him on the show to see what he has to say about that challenge and where his future lies in the boxing world. all you can do is ask for your opportunity, and you did, and you continue to stay busy. I like the fact that you're not just holding your breath, waiting for him to make a decision. You're already active, like you said. You'll be this Saturday active once again, and that's taking place, and another side of the whole world, and it gives
Mm-hmm.
you a chance to be seen, pick up more followers, more fans, and continue your journey as you walk with the Lord, and you continue to walk in this boxing world, man. I believe, sky's the future for you, man. I mean, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
sky's the limit, I should say.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I can't take no breaks. I can't wait on him. If he doesn't want to fight me, I'll find somebody that will.
Exactly, man. I'm going to play matchmaker with you. I'm going to make you into a matchmaker, man. What fight today has not officially been signed or announced that needs to take place? What two fighters need to fight each other?
I mean, I don't want to sound too cliche, but Bud and Spence need to definitely hash it out. Um, there's a few other guys that I would like to see that fight, but they're a little past their time. But those are those type of fights that I feel like if they were in their prime, we should see like another Pacquiao and Floyd. But there's plenty of fights that need to be in the ring and need done.
Okay, let's do this. Let's take a fighter from today and let's match him up with a fighter of yesterday. If you could put together a dream match, who would it be, and in what weight class would it be? I mean, well, first of all, who would it be?
Heavyweight division, Tyson Fury versus Muhammad Ali.
Ooh,
I get it
that's a
all the
great
time.
matchup.
I
They're kind of the
personally
same
feel that
style.
Tyson Fury is the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time. And when I talk to everybody about it, oh no, he could never beat Muhammad Ali. Oh, he could never beat Mike Tyson. Listen, Tyson Fury is a freak of nature. I don't think anybody could beat that man. He's different. So if I could get one of those dream fantasy matches, that'll definitely be one of them.
I won't argue with you on the Muhammad Ali and Tyson Fury, but I will say this: the difference between the two is Tyson Fury is so smart and he has all the attributes. I like to call him the Larry Bird of boxing, because you see Larry Bird in basketball and you see this white dude and you're just like thinking, this is what America thinks. And man, this dude ain't doing nothing. And before you know it, you're looking at all the championships he already has. Now you see Tyson Fury. He's not all chiseled. He's not all ripped. He's not built like Richard Popeye Rivera, but yet his boxing IQ is high. His intelligence is high, and he's able to get away with things that a lot of fighters can't because of he uses his weight like crazy, his speed, his tenacity, and he doesn't get credit for his toughness and his meanness inside of that boxing ring. Although Muhammad Ali, he just finds a way, man. He just has that grit. He knows he would be up for a task. Oh, I mean, that's one hell of a fight to call. I mean, I would, you know what? I would love to see that fight. That would be an awesome fight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my breakdown anyways, man. But you laughed when I said about the Larry Bird of boxing, because you see this guy and you're thinking, oh, he's nothing. Look at him. I mean, and before you know it, you're already getting taken to the hole, or he's already slam dunking on you. And Larry Bird was a freak, man. If it wasn't for Michael Jordan, we'd be talking about him in the same conversations with LeBron James. And in my opinion, I think number two, by a close number two, is Kobe Bryant. But there's only one Jordan, man. I mean, you may differ with the LeBron James thing, but I just think LeBron James is another face in the crowd. I mean, I like Magic Johnson. I like Larry Bird over LeBron James, but that's just me. How do we get talking about basketball, man? See what you did? You kind of flipped it a little bit. It's all good. Who's your basketball team, man?
I'm a Chicago Bulls fan.
Oh, there you are. Then, of course, Jordan.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a Knicks fan. We haven't won anything since Patrick Ewing missed that layup against Houston, man. And yeah, we haven't been much of a late. Who's your football team, man?
I'm a Vikings fan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we did good this season,
huh?
but we choked in the playoffs.
You guys had a good squad, man. I mean, you guys would always come back a lot. I'm a Cowboy fan, so we choked big time in the playoffs, man. I mean, my feelings are still hurt the last 2 years. It could have been anybody, but that team in the red jerseys, they beat us 2 years in a row, man. It's not going to happen this year because football is over already. So I can wear my cowboy hat again, Dallas Cowboy hat, because it's a new season, just like baseball. Who's your baseball team?
Atlanta Braves and the Mets. I know it's weird because
Okay.
they're rivals, but I'm a Mets fan. I'm an Atlanta Braves fan.
There you go. Did you ever play baseball? Did you ever think about playing baseball?
Yeah, I played all sports growing up. I'm not a boxer. I'm an athlete. There ain't nothing I can't do. I played football. I played Pop Warner. I played high school. I played semi-pro. When it came to baseball, I did T-ball, Little League, Babe Ruth, Legion. I did every sport from volleyball to swimming to track, cross country, basketball. There was, like I said, I'm not a boxer. I'm an athlete.
It's funny you say that. I use that term a lot. And when I try to explain to somebody, I say, well, he's an athlete. He can play whatever he wants. When I'm talking
Hmm.
about a player, I once said, Chris Brown, the dancer, the singer, I said, if he was a football player, he'd be a wide receiver because he's an athlete.
Hmm.
I mean, he's a dancer, but
Right.
he's strong and he's athletic.
Hmm.
So, no, being that said, I could tell you were an athlete. I could tell that you played some ball before. When you played
Hmm.
baseball, what number did you wear? What was your favorite number in sports?
It was funny because if it wasn't one, it was 22 or 45.
22 or 45. Okay. There you go. That makes sense. My favorite number was 10. I wore it because of Pelé, the soccer player, and handed it
Oh,
down to
okay.
my son and my daughter, number 10. So I'll rock with number
Mhm.
10. Matter of fact, I got it on my arm with my son. So,
That's what's up.
okay, speaking of sons, speaking of, do you have any children?
I don't have any children, but when that time comes, I'm hoping I could get a slew of them. I want at least 5 kids.
Oh, well, there you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm gonna give Olive Oil all she can handle.
Oh, there you go, man. And keep Brutus away, right?
Yeah, big facts.
There you go. Well, my man, you're gonna need plenty of spinach, man, because for 5 kids, man, and
Yeah, I'm
especially
gonna
you
be
like
world
doing things
champion.
back
No,
to
I'm gonna
back to
be.
back, right? And you just
Mm-hmm.
said, Richard, you don't take any time off. You stay active. So you're going to go back to back to back.
Right.
That's all good, man. So you know what? What do you got to say to all the fans and the followers that watch and support you?
Hey, I just want to say thank you so much for following me. I was somebody that always felt like I was uninteresting or nobody cares about me to becoming Popeye who I am today, where everybody's showing me love. So I just want to thank you guys for that love and encouragement, that support. It's definitely taken me a long way. There's a lot of fighters out there that say, oh, I fight for me, or coaches that say, oh, you got to do this for you. Like I can't like put my mind in a place where I'm just doing it for me. I do it for the kids. I do it for my community. I do it for my family. I do it for so much more than just me. And to think about just me is selfish. There's times where I think about my fans and it helps me get up and run these miles. I think about the people that care about me and pray for me, and it makes me want to hit the bag harder or train a little longer, go that extra mile. So I just want to tell everybody out there, thank you. I appreciate you, and I will be a strong, positive role model and representative for y'all.
Hey, man, I love the answer, man. And how do you dislike a person like that who sees himself other than just a professional fighter, but someone who changes lives, touch lives, and willing to put himself on the line and willing to do without to give back, man? That's a class act, my man. So let me ask you this, man. Where can we get some of your gear? Where can we get the shirts, the hats, and how can we support you by wearing your apparel, man? How do we get in line with that
Yeah,
stuff?
we working on all that. Right now, if you were to hit me up on Instagram, Richard.Popeye, contact me and we'll be sure to get you some merch as soon as possible. But we're working on trying to get all that in bulk.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to do it. Like I talked to you earlier, man, I'm gonna have to send you some gear out there, man. I like to see you repping it, man. Tag me with it, rock it during your sessions. Regis Pro Graves rocks the Fighter's Voice gear. Jose Ramirez, Manny Robles. I gave a shirt to Tyson Fury. I gave a shirt to Deontay Wilder. Joshua Franco rocks this, and there's a lot of fighters out there, a lot of people in the entertainment business, man, and I appreciate when they do wear it and tag me on that. Mike Eframowitz, the vice president for Combate MMA, he rocks it, and it feels good, man, and it's something that I do appreciate that, man, and I like to turn people along with it that I know that are not just wear it to wear it, but make it special, make it a moment, man. And it's
Yeah.
something about it, man. I mean, the whole show is blessed. So why not be a part of that blessing, man? I know the t-shirt has no power or nothing, but it just anybody that gets onto the show, onto the platform, this whole show is blessed. And one day I'll
Mhm.
tell you the whole story of how the fighter's voice became the fighter's voice. But
Mhm.
enough about me, man. I want to ask you this, man. Any sponsors out there, any strong supporters out there that you want to give a shout out to, the platform is yours.
Yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to Seven Puff Smokehouse that's always looking out for me, helping me get to my fights to look good, or giving me money so I have the proper training. I also want to give a big shout out to Up and Smoke. It's another smokehouse here in Hartford, Connecticut. They're always, there supporting me, and most of the times, if they're able to be there for my fights, no matter where in the world, they're coming with me. So, um, I just want to say thank you guys for believing me and putting the money where your mouth is.
Exactly. And keep that thought, because what we're going to do is we're going to give you an opportunity to contact your sponsors. And I got to have you back on the show. So when I do have you back on the show, I want to see if they're interested in sponsoring part of the show. So we could dedicate every segment in their name in your sponsorship. And we'll put up a big logo of them. We'll put up a small video of them, and we'll make it worthwhile and make your sponsor feel special, because now they got a platform. And not only that, to sponsor a show that Richard Popeye the Sailor Rivera is not only on, but using his platform to touch the masses. And also, a lot of people know about your sponsorship.
Wow, thank you. That'd be amazing. I'm
Yeah,
positive
yeah,
they'll be.
that'd be a great opportunity for everybody, man.
Hmm.
Man, I mean, there's so many questions that I want to ask you, and you had some questions come in. One of them was how you started with the Popeye name, but that's been answered right now. This is coming in because he made a comment on the first guest that we had. This guy's out of the black corner, Shally Hollis. He said you mentioned earlier on the interview that you're willing to come down to 168. What
Hmm.
fighter were you willing to fight at 168? And do you think you could shake up the division and beat? No, okay. Do you think you could still be as strong, have your strength moving down to 168?
Yeah, I still have my strength. Every time I get down to that weight class, I don't do it in a way that's gonna hurt me. I always do things the right way by eating right, exercising in the proper way, staying away from the things I don't need to, like drinking or junk food or things like that. If I go down there, I'd shake the 168 division. I know Benavidez got a tough fight coming up, but if I were to get down there, he's somebody that better watch out for me. I would love to fight his sparring partner Diego Pacheco. I would definitely love to get that cash cow. I would love to fight uh, uh, Canelo. And
What
if
about Edgar Blanca? Blanca.
Edgar Berlanga, there was many times where I said, "Oh, I would love to fight Edgar Berlanga because he's from New Jersey, I'm from Connecticut, and there was times where we went to Olympic trials together, and he was on a bracket and I was on another bracket, and I seen him fight, and I was like, oh man, I'd love to fight him. And if he had won his bracket and I would have won my bracket, we would have fought each other in the Olympic trials, and that never happened. He turned pro, I turned pro. We still kept growing together, and I called him out a few times. Hey, what up? Let's fight. But to be honest with you, I would personally like to stay away from Edgar Berlanga. He's somebody that's really putting on for the Puerto Rican community, and I don't want to be somebody that takes away from that. I'm Puerto Rican myself. I see him doing big things. I want to support that. So I see what he's doing. I respect what he's doing, and although we're both great fighters, I'll wait if that becomes a mandatory.
There you go. I could respect that, and I'm sure he respects that too. When he was with Top
Mhm.
Rank, when I was working at an event with a Top Rank promotion, I couldn't help but overhearing people were saying, "Oh man, this kid's a rock star." I mean, he just had that following. He had that mystique about him, and what it was is, Richard, I don't see anything different than what he's doing than what you're doing. Maybe except that he has some ice around his neck. But the only
Sure.
difference I see is, once again, he's on a huge platform.
Hmm.
And like I said on the top of the show, once you hit that top platform and they see everything that you stand for, when they sit down and interview you and find out exactly what you want to do besides boxing, Stardom's coming your way, my man. So get ready. It's coming your way, man. Open up your hands and just receive your cup because it's gonna be filled. That one
Hmm.
close loss, it didn't stop you. It motivated you, and you
Right.
know you're right there, and you can be with the best of them, and you are amongst the best of them.
Hmm. Thank you.
Of course, man. So who's in your corner? Who trains Richard Rivera?
I've always felt like I was the gumbo fighter of boxing, or the ugly stepchild, because I always had so many different trainers that I worked with. And, I never felt like somebody wanted to take my hand and go all the way with me. But I've worked a lot with Hector Rosario out of Connecticut. I've worked with John Scully. He's out of Connecticut. I've worked a lot with um many different people, but right now one of my main trainers is Gabriel Lamastus out of Team La Perla in Puerto Rico.
Okay, there you are. Have you ever thought about, just visiting? I'm not taking you away from the good training you have. Freddie Roach, wild card, or Robert Garcia at Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy, or Manny Robles, or any of the other great trainers out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind venturing out there. Like I said, I'm a sponge, and I'm not hard to train. I'm very trainable. So there's nothing that they can say that I won't be able to take something out of it. So I would love to venture out and see what else I can do, learn. I feel like I'm a vessel that still has a lot to be filled up with.
Exactly. And you even got Top Rank out in Las Vegas. Frank
Hmm.
Estea runs that gym for Top Rank, and you got a lot of names and a lot of talent walking in and out of that gym. So let me ask you this: why is your stage different from everybody else? What makes you different, besides the lights, the camera, the action, and the energy that you bring? Why are you different from every other fighter once that bell rings?
I mean, I feel like my natural charisma and character shows in the ring. I feel like a lot of people lie to themselves, or they try to sell you something that isn't really true. What you're getting is raw, is authentic, it's the real deal Holyfield. So when they see me, is what they see in the ring is what they're gonna see out on a regular daily basis.
He said the real deal Holyfield, man. I tell you one thing, man. That guy is remarkable. He gets lost a lot of times in the topic of the greatest of all time. I mean,
Hmm.
it's hard to give that title to somebody, man. I mean, you got so many greats in the heavyweight division, man. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people didn't even give Lennox Lewis credit. Why? Because he's not from the States. But Lennox Lewis cleaned out the whole heavyweight division.
Right.
Larry Holmes didn't get that much credit. I mean, Sonny
Hmm.
Liston, Jack John. I like Jack Dempsey. I mean, you want to take
Hmm.
it even further, but
Yeah.
one heavyweight that really didn't have the career that he could have had, and I loved his right hand, was Tim Witherspoon. I was hoping
Mm.
Tommy Morrison, could have made another run. Of course, the George Foreman. There's just so many in that heavyweight division. So
Right.
I do see Tyson every time. Tyson Fury matching up well with everybody. The only one that I can
Hmm.
have seen him maybe possibly match up good with him because of the weight and leaning on him would have probably been Lennox Lewis or one of the
Hmm.
Kletskos. But he said what he did to the Kletskos. I'm talking about the other one, Vladi, or I'm not sure if I'm saying
Hmm.
his name right, but Tyson Fury, he's going to be world champion for as long as he decides to be world champion, for as long as
Right.
it's not a job to him, as long as he's still having fun. He's definitely shot caller. I think if he wins the undisputed title, he has nothing to do but maybe possibly promote. But the man needs boxing. It keeps him clean. It keeps him where he needs to be, in the lane where he needs to be. Of course, you
Right.
follow his story. So
True.
he needs boxing as much as boxing needs him.
Facts. That's crazy
You know,
how you could say that.
yeah, it is what it is. But I'll tell you one character though, man. I just love him. I loved his interview leading up to his son Tommy Fury fighting, and we're going to talk about that too. And Jake Paul, the whole decision. I love Tyson Fury's dad. And I think it's comical the way Tyson Fury, he doesn't call him dad. He says John. He calls him by his first name. And John Fury's a trip once he behind the microphone, man.
Hmm. It really is. Watching that fight the other day and seeing everybody's reaction to how much energy they had, it definitely showed that that's a different family to be born into.
Oh, it is. I like when he talked to the brothers and he said, no fighting. He went down all of them, and no fighting and no fighting. And his dad goes, if someone gets in my face, I'm knocking them out. And he goes, no, I need you to calm down, John. And he goes, no, I'm telling you, I'll knock them out. And, I thought that was comical, but you can see that it was real. It wasn't, that's the way they live.
Yeah.
We got to see it on TV. That's every day to their family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what'd you think about the
that
outcome,
was a great
man?
fight, by the way.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too. It doesn't
It
get
was
credit.
entertainment.
It was entertainment. And I don't like to call him a YouTuber anymore.
Yeah. Nah. He definitely earned his dues. He paid his dues. He's a fighter. I hope he could come back from this, because then that'll prove a lot more. I feel like what's gonna make a bigger statement is him coming back to fight again and rising up to the occasion.
I'm going to tell you something crazy. I've always watched it as entertainment, but after that fight, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get a lot of emails and a lot of, okay, whatever, probably lose followers. I don't care. I'm going to call it like the way I see it. I'm a fan of Jake Paul. I'm a fan of Jake Paul because he didn't sit on his butt. He's using his Instagram, his YouTube, his Twitter, every element out there. He's using his media outlet. It's free. Nobody is stopping any other fighter from doing the same thing. It's self-marketing. Of a lot of people, if he didn't believe it, he works hard so he can believe it. He actually believes every single thing that comes out of his mouth. And as well as you should be your number one fan, knowing if I don't believe in myself, who else will? So I like the pressure that he puts on himself. And at the end of the day, man, I mean, he left everything inside the ring. There's nothing more or else he can do. He did a great job. He held himself up accordingly.
Yeah, I worked with him a few times. I was his sparring partner when he was supposed to fight Tommy Fury the first time, and I was there to help him when he fought Tyron Woodley. And being in his training camp, I was able to see his work ethic and what he puts in. And I definitely I definitely grew a lot of respect for him.
I hear he does work hard. Where was that training camp at? Was it in California?
No, it was in Puerto Rico. It was in Dorado.
Okay.
Dorado, Puerto Rico.
Okay, well, there you are, man. Hey, well, listen, man, it's been a pleasure and honor and having you on, man. I got to have you back, man. I just can't get enough of everything that you stand for, man. I mean, every time the words come out of your mouth, man, it's nothing but positive, but that fighter is still in you, man. And I love the way you say, I'm not a boxer, I'm an athlete, which means you can transition and become anything you want. And that's the same mind frame as if to say, I'm not a boxer, I'm a missionary, or I'm an evangelist. I'm going to use every platform I have to reach out to help people. I know there's life after boxing and then some, and that God's going to use you for a higher purpose, as you stated. A lot of people say that, but I can tell you're all about it. And along the way, God's not going to ignore you doing what you're doing for him. I mean, he's going to bless you and give you that opportunity, man. Just make sure you're ready for that opportunity, because when you get that title shot, man, unless it's in Dubai, bro, I can't make that trip. But if it's in the States here, I'm going to be there, bro. You best believe that.
All right, man. Hopefully we if it ain't in Las Vegas, my dream was always to fight Madison Square Garden. So my fingers are crossed for that.
Hey, man, I'm going to save a lot of cans and a lot of but I don't need to say that. We're going to be down there. I'm going to be down there, bro. I'm going to be at that whole fight week, the press conference, the weigh-in, the walk-in. I'm going to be at the fights, man. I'm not going to buy a ticket to see it. I'm going to put in for a credential, man, and I'm going to make sure I'm there to cover it, man.
Thank you, man. That'd be awesome.
So where can we reach you, man? How do we follow you on Instagram, or what's your handle on audio media platforms?
Yeah, so right now, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's richard.popeye. I have a TikTok where I do absolutely ridiculous things. You can follow me there.
I was going to talk to you about that. Oh, my gosh. No, hold on a second. I don't mean to interrupt you. I got to talk to you about that. That was on my strong notes right now, man. Did not mean to interrupt you. My man. I even told my girl, I said, babe, he did one that I'm not too sure about. But you put your heart, but then I saw the other ones, man, because you were doing all the voices. And he did that one just a little bit and interacted and moved a little differently. But now after watching them all, I'm going, okay, this guy is an entertainer. Okay, KP, 5 more minutes before we cut it out. We got to talk about Richard Popeye Rivera's TikTok. There's where all the explosion is, man. You put every stuff every now and then on Instagram, but I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not followed or watched TikTok, Richard Popeye Rivera on there, I suggest not only do you follow, leave some comments. If you're bored or you're sleepy, you must put it on, and it's going to elevate you exactly where you need to be for your next event or walk-in. Talk to us about that, man, because there's a whole different side. You said I'm not the boxer, I'm the athlete. Well, we can say, and then entertainer, bro. You got a future in acting. You really do. And KP's our producer's the person to talk to because he's an actor himself. Was just on one of the hottest in the world from Netflix. He was on Dahmer. He was on the movie, the whole series.
Oh, nice.
So he knows the entertainment business. My man, okay, I said enough, man. Talk to us about that.
I mean, it's a platform where I can be myself, and I could be a little clownish or silly. Honestly, I'm somebody that's hard to get embarrassed, so I get to
So you got
play
no
around with
vergüenza. That's good.
But it definitely gives me a way to show a little bit of my personality through the lens.
Yeah, exactly. You very well said. You're not embarrassed of anything. That doesn't exist. No fear, no embarrassment. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, man, I was quite entertained. I just happened to stumble across it by accident. I said, "Is this him?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it is." At first, I didn't know when I saw it. I go, "Okay, yeah, it is." So you know what I'm talking about, then, right?
Oh man, there's so many in the archives that when I look back at it, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Okay, I tell you what, I got a challenge for you. I got something for you, and I want to see you tackle this. I want you to challenge yourself. I want you to go to some of the Fighters Voice archives on our YouTube. Pick any interview or anything that I have on there, whether it's a short or me interviewing a fighter, me interviewing you. It doesn't matter. Manny Pacquiao, Sugar Ray Leonard, any of my interviews. Put it on your TikTok and do both voices and see if you can mimic the body languages. I want to see that happen.
All right, man. I'm gonna try my best.
No, I'm sure you can do it, man. Because if you do that, man, I'm about to lose it, man. And I want to see that happen. I want to see you challenge yourself and do that. I know you can.
All right, sounds good. Y'all gotta see me TikTok at the real Popeye.
There you go, man. Sorry about the interruption, man, but that was a big part of the show that I was definitely going to talk to you about. I got thrown for a loop when some of these questions came in. I'm glancing at them, and I'm going to go ahead and send them to you because if I go through the whole questionnaire, it's going to take up possibly half of the show. So I'll send them to you so you can answer them yourself later on, especially when we air this on YouTube.
For sure.
So, man, once again, man, I appreciate the time. I know there's a time adjustment. What time is it exactly where you're at right now?
Right now, it's 11:30.
Oh, man, my bad. Hey,
no,
man,
it's all good. I live for this.
Okay, that's cool, man. I appreciate you taking the time. You know, we're Pacific time. Right now, it's 8:24, man. So, once again, man, I look forward to having you back. Thank you for your input on some of the fights. On some of the shows, I may just call you randomly on the phone and say, "Hey, Richard, I'm in the studio with Robert Garcia. I'm in the studio with Richard Torgier, whoever it is," and say, "What's your take on this?" or something. I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm going to give you the limelight and the platform to shine like the star you are, my man.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, of course, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Our YouTube channel, it's www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. And it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, and all the crew, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.